Alright, I thought I might as well talk about the NA version of Soul Worker right now, which is being run by GameForge. To mixed opinions right now, they're still working on the servers and stuff like that. But I thought I might as well just give my initial first impressions after playing the Japanese version and now playing this version. And there's some pretty significant differences, most notably the difficulty. This version, our version, is the same difficulty as the KR and the Korean and the Taiwan versions. Or so I've heard, and it's hard. Like, this game is not easy. It reminds me of really old school DFO when it was released in America, and how difficult it was. It's pretty much on that scale right now. Whereas in the Japanese game version, you can just kind of face roll through all the easy stuff and even on the hard stuff without any problems. On here, even on normal, like, some of the bosses just will kill you instantly if you're not careful. You really actually have to go and get gear to advance through the main story, which is interesting. Now, the game tries to help you a little bit, but the stuff you do get from the main story quest, which is like stuff here, is garbage compared to the stuff you get through events and through some of the rewards right now, or even just from farming bosses. You get a lot better gear. It's a little weird. It's definitely something that I'm not 100% sure about. But it's definitely something that, you know, I think people need to be aware of. Let me actually fix this. Yeah, so this game is actually not easy. It is actually pretty difficult, believe it or not. So, the combat in this game is not bad. It's a little clunky at times, I think, especially when you're using skills and you're flying all over the place. It feels like you don't have a lot of control over some of the moves, which you'll see in a second. Also, this game is really, really bad with lag. The netcode for this game is atrocious. It's similar to Ghost X, if you ever played that game, where literally everything is tied to the server. So even, like, your ability to attack, when you get hit, when enemies attack, is all tied to server side. So you'll just get hit by nothing. You'll end up, like, delaying your attacks by, like, for, like, 2 seconds for no reason, just because the server needs to catch up. Yeah, it takes a little bit to get used to, but once you get into it, it's pretty fun. A lot of enemies, though, have super armor, which is kind of annoying, and those enemies are the ones that usually will kill you in one hit, including some of the bosses. But this game is very much just like grouping a bunch of enemies up and then just trying to deal with them all at once. And it's a lot of dodging and a lot of mobility, which is kind of fun. You're moving around a lot, and you're constantly having to dodge enemy attacks and stuff like that. So here, let me just show it off. So we're basically just going to run around and get all these guys to spawn, and then I don't have my main AoE mobbing skill yet, but I do have one that does help quite a bit. So you see, these guys are still spawning, so we just have to kind of wait for them all to appear. They're just kind of attacking midair, and I can just kind of do something like this. That's like my main damage. That, lock him into the air, do some more damage, stuff like that. So, as you can see, I have to constantly dodge so I don't get hit, because this is even on normal, and I don't, and these guys are pretty tough. So you really do have to upgrade your gear early on to at least +4, I think is the recommended, and always make sure that, you know, you're always equipping whatever you need. Gold gear right now is actually really strong. It can last you a long time. There's a lot of people who are farming the gold gear after the first boss, which is on the Maniac difficulty. I've seen people get the whole set of that, and that can last you for like up to like level 20 if you upgrade it right. So that seems to be a lot of people are doing right now, is they're farming the Maniac difficulties and then just getting the stuff from that and then keeping that for a while, which is kind of what you need to do in order to solo right now. Otherwise, you have to find a party, which, based on how the servers are acting and a lot of people just gave up playing, it's kind of hard to find a party for what you want. Alright, so here's a super armor enemy, which we're going to have to deal with. But first, let's deal with the mobs first, if we can. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Yeah, see, I kind of screwed up there. Alright, his armor's broken. Or it was. Alright, there we go. So they drop loot. you're going to be potion spamming a lot, especially on the higher difficulties. I was watching a Korean player play, and he had to potion spam like crazy to survive in the higher difficulties on solo. So the gear in the game, I mean, so like I said, this is all gear I've gotten from dropped enemies, which is all way superior. Like, and I mean way superior to gear that you get just from playing, and this just from the story quests. And this is a gear that I got from a level up reward, which is a little bit weaker than the gold one. I think the gold is like 250 attack or something, but it's the best thing you can get for a while. So upgrade that to like +4, and then you're probably good to go. The reason why you upgrade them to +4 is because they can break after +4. So yeah, there's RNG enchanting in this game and all that kind of stuff. There is, you know, avatars and fashion items which do in fact have stats, but I don't have any of those that have stats right now. The cash shop right now, I guess we'll look up when we get back to town if it works, but basically they made a lot of the items free just because they're testing stuff. This is basically just a giant stress in game test right now because they didn't have a closed beta test or an alpha test or anything like that. So let's do these guys here. Watch this guy. Oh, watch out. So you have to really dodge around a lot, because especially with these super armor guys, because they can do a lot of damage. Now, I've been actually watching a lot of a Korean Haru player play, so I've been kind of getting more used to what I need to do with Haru. But your main ability is going to be First Blade at the start, which is incredibly strong ability. It also has an additional attack to it. And then when you get to level 8, you're going to get Blade Wall, and Blade Wall is actually going to be your main mobbing skill because that sends out like a wall of blades and then pulls all the enemies toward you. Combine that with Blade Quake or something, or First Blade, and you get a lot of damage off. Now, what's also cool is like as you upgrade your skills, so there is no skill resets in this game, which is kind of disappointing, but it really seems to nudge you in the right direction, at least early on, with picking the right skills. And also what's really cool is you can upgrade your basic attack, which also gives you more combos. So like I have now this one too. You say Flash Red, and I have additional abilities on this right click, which is a launcher, which is kind of cool, and I can follow it up for an air combo, which is pretty cool. You also have it's called a Nova skill. It's basically kind of like your powered up mode. There's a bunch of other skills you can get too, like passive skills that help you with like evading and stuff like that. I do have one. My right click attack is called Soul Strike. This is an ability that I actually didn't realize how good it was until recently. It has a lot of range, and it also deals a lot of damage to armor. And on normal enemies, it actually launches them up and gives them a lot more damage when they're in the air. So yeah. Let's actually go to the next area now and stop talking, because you are actually judged by your time you complete the mission. So, all right. So here's a boss, and he's probably gonna wreck my shit, but we'll see. So let's leave this area and get out of there. Ow. Yeah, see, because I wasn't paying attention. Oops. You can see how much more health the boss has than like the normal enemies. Alright, I gotta charge up my stamina for a second here. So it's actually optimal to kind of run around for a little bit. And that was messed up because of the camera. But you can see that's an example I was talking about where like you just kind of go through enemies a lot of the times, and it's really, really annoying. Yeah, like that. Make sure we heal a little bit. Yeah, again, this is on normal difficulty as well, mind you. Oh god. Yeah, I can't dodge at all right now. I guess I'll keep that to get some stamina. Alright, there we go. I mean, that was sloppy, but yeah, you can definitely see how this game does not screw around at all. I got an A because I took so long, but it's no big deal. But yeah, the game doesn't screw around at all. It is actually very, very difficult. If you're not keeping up with your gear, you will die if you're playing solo. It is definitely not like a game like Closers where you can literally just turn your brain off and... Ooh, hello. There's a thing over here. It's like a collectible item you can get. If you collect these collectibles, they're called soul sequences. You get like a costume blueprint or something. But yeah, as you can see, the game doesn't screw around. It's very much more difficult than the Japanese version, which may or may not be a liking to you. I know some people are going to be kind of mad about that, and they're going to be like, wow, this game is really hard. But there's a lot of people who are actually really happy about that, especially on the forums. Like, a lot of the players are like, I love the difficulty right now, which, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You are definitely going to have to farm for gear, which is something that, you know, you might not be used to in other games. So here's the crafting system. So this is a lot of endgame gear you can see here, but you can craft a lot of stuff, including gold gear, once you get to a certain point. I do actually remember crafting this when I played on the Japanese version, because I got to like level 20 or something. But you can see how, like, getting these things definitely doesn't seem to drop nearly as often as it does in the Japanese version from my experience, but I don't really know. Oh, we got some better gear, so let's equip this stuff. Is this one better? Yes. Let's go down to 2. Alright, and then you want to dismantle the stuff that you have for upgrade materials. So let's actually upgrade my sword a little bit more. So I want to upgrade this thing to +3. So it actually costs quite a lot to upgrade early on, because you don't have that much money. But let's get this thing to +3. There we go. So after +4, your weapon can break. So that's something to keep an eye out for. So it's +3 now. That's good for us. So it's 175. Yeah, the difference in upgrading is actually pretty huge. So you always want to make sure you're upgrading your weapons to at least +4. Alright, so let's dismantle this stuff here. Dismantle that. That's fine. I want to actually keep these in case I need them for something later. There we go. So you get upgrade materials and crafting materials for dismantling stuff, and it's a very important part of the game, so you are going to have to do that. Now, the shopkeepers in this game, they actually sell shit. But some of these you actually do need to buy in order to craft certain gears. So you also need to buy these like crafting materials as well from them in order to make certain stuff. So another system in this game, you have this thing called Akasha transmitters, which I don't really entirely sure what they do yet. I think they give you what are called Akasha skills, which I'm not entirely sure what they do right now. But let's open one and see what happens. I don't really know this system yet because it wasn't really explained to me that well. Alright, so we got a 2-star Akasha, which is a passive skill. On suffering damage, there's a 7% probability that you gain plus 15% soul force. Okay. And you can also level them up too and stuff like that. And you can Akasha skills. Where are my Akasha skills at? Skills. Akasha skills, yeah, here we go. So you can equip them here, so if I do... I don't know if I want to use that just yet. Let's use this other one too, see what we get. I saw the Korean player got a 3-star, and he was really happy about that. Got another 2-star. On direct hit, there's a 10% probability that soul force plus 10%. Yes, these aren't that great, but we can probably equip both of these. Let's use both of these. So we'll put both of these, and we'll do this one. I'll put both of them because why not? I probably screwed something up. Maybe it was like, oh, you know, you should sell them or whatever, but I don't really know. This game's not really explained to me that well yet. That's another problem with this game. There's a lot of mechanics built into it that aren't really explained right away. They just kind of expect you to, you know, kind of figure it out, which isn't, you know, may not be a bad or a good thing, depending on how you look at it. So as you can see, to craft like these green stuff, you need these Hans, which are pretty rare drops that you get from mobs, and then to craft the blue one, you need the green one as well as a bunch of other materials. So crafting and gearing is definitely a very important part of Soul Worker. So it's something you just need to keep on top of all the time. which again is not something you might not be used to from other games. You're just used to, a lot of people are just used to just getting the gear they need from the main story quest, but in this game, that's like the bare minimum you need to survive, if even that. So, let's get these. And we'll get another side quest. But overall, yeah, I really do like this game. I think it's really fun, and because of the challenge and how the combat plays out, especially later on when you get a lot of skills, it can get pretty crazy. And some of the boss battles later on are pretty fun. Although, you know, super armor is a thing in this game. It's very prominent in this game as well. Let's see if we can check out the cash shop. The cash shop's been like incredibly laggy and doesn't work, as you can see. So maybe we won't be able to do that. But I do want to check out the cash shop at some point and maybe report on that. But, oh, this game also does have an achievement system. So you actually get really, really good rewards for completing achievements and for completing the zones. So these are progress rewards that you get. As you can see, you get Akasha skills for getting level 5 completion of each zone. And you also get these coins in achievements, which you exchange to this guy over here. And these coins you can use to get cash up items. So stuff like anti-destruction tickets, stuff like energy regen, which is basically your stamina system, which we'll talk about in a second. Akasha skills. Bruce is not sure if you can get avatar items. You can get this Akasha if you want, which I don't think is really that good, but you know, some brooches and stuff like that. So yeah. So the stamina system, so it is called energy system. You can, of course, you know, restore it with cash up items, but yeah, there is a stamina system in this game, very similar to other games. You can kind of sell, like, every time you enter a dungeon, you use a certain amount of energy. I mean, you know, it is what it is. It doesn't really bother me that much. I'm not, you know, those systems don't really bother me too much unless they're performed pretty badly. But in this game, I think it's pretty well. Works pretty well. All right, so let's do the next mission here. So yeah, this game, especially on hard and maniac, gets kind of crazy if you aren't prepared for it. I would say after you get your main set of skills, like Haru, once she gets her blade wall skill at level 8, things get a lot easier for her. But you have to play really cautiously and kind of gimmicky in order to survive it, but you're playing solo anyway. We got a boss here. I remember this guy. Wow, they're dead. Alright. Here we go.
심한 짓을 해버렸군요. 예민한 아이, 너그러 이해해 주시길.
별승리그 병력 전멸 확인. 잠든 병력 없음. 전 없어. 사람들은 대체 뭘 위해? 포기하기 이릅니다. 플랜 A를 성공시킨다면 승산은 충분합니다.
So as you might probably have also figured out by now, this game uses the Korean voice acting and not the Japanese voice acting, which a lot of people are already vocal about. I kind of agree. I don't mind the Korean voice actors, but I do definitely think the Japanese dub in this game is a lot better, just from my experience. But and a lot of people do prefer the Japanese dubs, but you know, it is what it is. It doesn't bother me that much. This game does have have lots of voice acting and a lot of story elements to it, which is always nice. Very similar to Closers. So, oh yeah, those things explode. They explode and they drop baddies, so you gotta watch out for those. Alright, so let's... Oh, those things explode too. Wonderful. Trying to get these guys moved up here. Oh, yeah, see. That's something. I got hit by something. Yeah, you just gotta wait for these guys to all spawn. It's kind of annoying, but... What the hell? That's not fair. There we go. I'm starting to get the hang of how to deal with super armor enemies. You know, you really have to be much more conservative and just kind of work on windering their armor down with your abilities. So yeah. So we're looking for like an AI module for this helicopter or something to attack this big enemy. The translations are okay. There's definitely some weird structure with some of the sentences, but overall, it's not bad. It gets the job done. I think Closer's translations were a lot better, for sure.
AI 모듈 인스톨 완료. 잔존병력 3매전에 돌입해 주십시오.
There's also a lot of English too, with your operator, which I find interesting. I forget her name, but yeah.
헬리콥터 파괴 확인. 플랜 A 실패입니다.
Well, there goes the helicopter.
복귀해
Okay, there's a
주세요.
lot of guys here, so let's
방법이
not
있을
die.
겁니다.
And there we go. Got a lot of them. Oh yeah, I got hit there. As you can see again. Oh, it's on a cooldown. Oh yeah, see, that's a good example of some of the snapback you get with the lag. I don't really understand the iframes on dodging just yet, and I kind of got hit out of my dodge animation there, which kind of sucks. But yeah, that happens quite often. All right, so if we're gonna have to deal with the boss next, let's heal up a little bit. Oh. So this is just like a rare mob that spawns once in a while who drops stuff. He drops cubes that you can get items from. So that's always nice. Alright, we got another boss here. So let's kill these mobs first. And use our thing. Which I turned off the camera effects, which I'm not sure why they're on again, but you know, it is what it is. I'm just waiting for my stuff to recharge. Ooh. Ow. Yeah, I don't know how I got hit there, but... Come on, buddy. Oh, he's almost dead anyway. Oh, I missed. There we go. That wasn't too bad. No, we got some blue stuff. Sweet. That's not for us, unfortunately, but that's fine. Crit chance +1, crit damage. Nah, we'll keep the crit damage, I think. What's this? It's for the quest. We can use that when we get back to town. Good stuff. Any other collectibles around here? Just look around and see if we can find anything cool. Yeah, I guess not. The soul sequence stuff just spawns randomly. But yeah. But yeah, that's basically it. I don't know what else to really talk about other than, yeah, this game definitely is a lot more difficult than the Japanese version for sure. I don't know how the Korean version is, but, you know, based on how the Korean players are playing, I'm assuming the difficulty is about the same. I haven't actually asked them, but yeah, let me guys know what your opinions are on this game so far. If you like the difficulty, if it's something you were kind of looking for in a game. I do think the combat is a little wonky at times there. You can even see, like, on that boss, like, I just kind of go through him. Like, he just sort of phantom, and my abilities just kind of flash right through him, which is kind of annoying. It happens a lot in this game, and can be a little bit annoying to control abilities. You have to kind of stand further back and judge the distance on them and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's Soul Worker. Probably might upload some more of this game. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah.